Hello everybody, welcome to the Geek Dump. Today I just kind of want to have a geek talk and kind of just say what's on my mind. See, like these shirts are supposed to like hang over the shoulder and like, I don't know, but it looks stupid to me. I don't know, everyone else can like make it look cute. I have a nice shoulder, but I don't know, other girls can pull it off, I can't, so I kind of just, yeah. But then that looks stupid too. I'm confused. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about my shirt. I kind of just wanted to talk out of my ass. Um, I think I'm going to talk about like why I identify as a geek, and I guess people have different definitions because I've like claimed that I'm a geek, and I found other geeks that like identify as a geek with me, and then I found people who find calling yourself a geek makes you like all high and mighty. So I think many people have different definitions. Um, I personally just think geek means that you identify with a lot of elements that do not have to do with the real world. So you might find yourself rather than being here on like this level, you're in your head or you're in some other world in a book or in a video game or in a movie. You like kind of just have this like place somewhere else, whether it's somewhere you made up or whether it's something that someone else made up. That's what I like think a geek is. And someone sorry, someone recently told me, and I can't remember where, but they said that a geek was a term made up by nerds to make other nerds feel bad. But then I have like a totally different definition for nerd. My definition of nerd is someone who takes something from this world and makes that their life. So someone who's really good in business is like a business nerd. Someone who's really good in with money is like a economic nerd, or someone who's really good with mathematics or literature, they're like mathematic and literature nerds. And that's what I think a nerd is, and I think that's what's the difference between a nerd and a geek. A nerd has something here on this world that they identify with and that they take and make their own. A geek is someone who takes something that doesn't exist and makes that their own and takes that and identifies with that. So those are my definitions. I don't know what your definitions are, but please share with me what your definitions of geeks and nerd are. I honestly would rather be a nerd because sometimes my geek life gets in the way of this real life, and it's kind of depressing because I can do so much with myself and I don't because I'm kind of scared to take that step forward, and I could be like so great here on this world, but I'd rather be in La La Land. So I'm done with that. And then, so those are just like my basic definitions. I don't know how to get it any straighter than that. And then other people were like, oh, being a nerd or a geek means that you're like socially awkward. And so you'll hear this a lot. Some people will be like, oh yeah, I'm a geek because I'm socially awkward and I don't know how to talk to people. No, that's just being socially awkward. You can be socially awkward and not identify as either a geek or nerd. That's not really like a requirement or a expectation for being a geek or nerd. I see many geeks and nerds that don't have a social awkwardness to them. So I don't know why people say that, like, oh, I'm socially awkward, that automatically makes me a geek or a nerd or something. I won't deny that that might be like the start of being a geek or nerd, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm socially awkward, so I'm going to live my life outside of society and in a book or in a movie or whatever. But I don't think that's how it is in all cases. I can see why it's assumed, but I don't think that's like a requirement either. And then there's also the, oh, in order to be like a geek, you have to like prove yourself. There's this whole like, oh, you have to prove yourself, and whether it's like through having items of the geekdom you identify with, or if you're a nerd, items that identify with that thing that you associate yourself with, you kind of have to like prove it by having like items, or it's also knowledge. So like science geek would have to prove himself by like, oh, what are you like into, like what do you know about science, and they have to like sit there and be like, oh, I know this, this, and this. And the same with geeks, like, oh, what do you know about Batman? It's like, oh, I know this, this, and this. And it's like you have to prove yourself, and sometimes it's like you don't even have to know anything about that, just as long as you identify with it and it's kind of ingrained in your life. And I think that's what makes you a geek or a nerd or whatever. I identify myself more as a geek because, like I explained earlier, I kind of live in La La Land more than I do in this world. I would probably be like a literature geek, a little bit of a history and theology geek, because I do take those elements and I try my hardest to make something of myself using those elements. Like I want to be teaching literature, and so obviously that would make me kind of like a literature geek, because I would be studying that and applying it to my life and in order to like have my life revolve around it, and also I'd be making money off of it, and it would kind of be like my thing. So yeah, but I'm like, I'm such a mess. Like I love being in La La Land so much that it just conflicts with reality, and it's not good. But I'm not bad. I'm doing really good in school, so at least right now I'm doing really good in school. But like an example is like I'm supposed to be writing articles, and I don't know if it's because I'm not really writing articles on the topics that I want to be writing them on, but even if they were topics that I want to be writing them on, I'll find myself like reading a book or watching a TV show, or I'll be right there, I'll have it in my head, I can write it, but for some reason there's just some kind of like discouragement and some kind of something holding me back. Like I'm scared to move forward in reality. It's so odd. And that's a big problem. So, I could be making a name for myself right now, and I'm like inhibited. Is that the right word? Because I don't know. Something's preventing that from coming out. And I don't really want to blame it on the geekdom. I know it's myself. But like when I start like realizing, oh, I should be doing this article, I get stressed out. And so in order to like not stress myself out, I read a book. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh crap, I'm reading this book when I could be writing. And it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. So yeah, this Geek Talk might have been a little bit different than what you're used to, but I just had to get it off my chest because this has been like really bad lately. And people don't really know what I mean, because I'm like, it's like this discouragement. It's not laziness, because I can do it. Like I'm up, I have energy, I can do it. It's not me being lazy. It's me fearing becoming something, or just fearing that I can't do it, and that if I put it out there it'll be a failure. I don't know what it is. I have issues, but yeah. So that's just what I wanted to get off my chest. I'm a little bit sick. I don't know what it is. I'm thinking it's asthma, because I have no like symptoms of like any normal sickness. So I just like randomly cough and shortness of breath, and I'm pretty sure it's just asthma, and then I have allergies on top of that, so it kind of makes it seem like I am like sick, but I'm pretty sure it's just like a blend of asthma and allergies, which is bad because that means my stuff is getting worse. Because when I was little, my asthma and my allergies didn't really affect me, and now as I get older, it's like getting worse, and I don't know what's why or whatever. It must be like the pollution or something. So Yeah, this one was probably all over the place. I just decided to like have like a idea and then expand from there. So, sorry about freaking you guys out or something if I did that. If not, just, share your experience with me. Am I a weirdo, or do you guys have like the same kind of problems? Um, and also, like, how do you identify? What do you identify as? I have these things that I identify with, and I just do, and it's me, and I can't really, I don't know, I'm not one of those people that like wants to label everyone and everything. But I feel like I can do it to myself. I can label myself if I feel comfortable enough to do it. And it's just one of those things that I personally identify as. And it's because it's based on my own definition, and so on and so forth. So I know I am just kind of prolonging this discussion. Um, I probably messed up countless times, but I really don't think this is something I can redo. So, thank you for your time. Bye.